Metod, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Andre. I will share now my presentation. Hopefully you can see. Okay, can you hear me as well?
Yes, everything is fine. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Let's start. So, as Andre mentioned, I will cover today some perspectives on CTI sharing among the organizations in the in the consortium, but even wider. After all, we would like to share in a wide community and also gain the information from the wider community. So, I will talk today about the platform, but the platform is not meant as a technological construct. So I will talk almost nothing about the technology, but about the other aspects of threat information sharing. Apologize. So why it matters? When the one entity is under attack, so these informations are very important for all others. That's for sure, and it's I mean inevitable that these informations should be reported according to the law, and also should be shared with other entities that could prepare or check if they are also maybe under some attack. So attackers typically reuse tools, technique, tactics, and malware among the different targets. So this information is then useful for everybody. So that sharing also enables a faster response, as I said. If one entity is under the attack, other entities may benefit from this information very much. So no one sees the whole landscape, that's a fact. But if we join all this knowledge, all these observations and informations, we can build and maintain the wider threat landscape picture. And as I already mentioned, regulator expectation. So they is the expectation and encouraging the CTI sharing among the entities, among the inside the industry peers, as well as between them. But it also creates some risks and raises some questions. So it's about the legal, competitive, and reputational nature, and all those must be managed through all this platform and processes. So there are some dimensions of the CTI sharing platform, and I need to speak again. It's not the technological platform, it's the all aspects of what this platform means. So one dimension is definitely trust, and the question related to that is, who can I share with, and why do I believe them that those informations will be used properly? And then the legal dimension, what I am allowed to share and under what protection. So what our company rules and our general legal terms allow us to share. And definitely we should build some kind of a contract between the entities. And what are the binding rules between us written in those contracts? And how the intelligence then flows in practice. So there is some process that must be established. And as well, so how this will be implemented in the technical, in the systems. So how is sharing actually performed, how this is secured, how the access is secured, how the informations are classified, labeled, and so on, and prevented to be accessed by someone who is not allowed to access. And last but not least, community and sustainability. So this should be built to last. So how this platform, to keep that it will be a long-term working platform. So let's start with the trust. So trust is not something that is established from the day one. The trust is built over time through consistent behavior. So the trust within CTI framework is earned, engineered or managed, and also enforced through the different aspects or rules. So one is how to onboard, how to accept a new CTI community organization. So those partners, organizations should be checked. There might be kind of a sponsorship or the peer endorsement, so like an ISAC models. So it's not that automatically someone could join the community, or if there are public information, there may be some kind of a self-registration as well for those public informations. So some tiered trust groups should be established. So some kind of a circle of trust or sector communities. Maybe some bilateral channels could be established. And then the reputation and accountability is also important. So the contribution might be scored. So how the quality or the meaningfulness of the contributing informations, and also the misuses. So how to handle the misuses and if there will be any penalties on that. And the anonymization options to protect victim identity while also preserving useful data. Reciprocity. So free riders are not welcome. So we expect that there will be the balance between the producers and consumers of the information. And the transparency as well. So members must know how their data will be used and how it will be redistributed. Then we also heard something about the legal foundations. Well, the legal foundations enables or also mandates CTI sharing. So ZINF 1 mandates sharing of incident data with national SI-CERTs and also suggests sharing this information among others. Critical Entities Resilient Directive or Zakon o kritičnoj infrastrukturi also encourages sharing of information. And then all other acts or suggested documents that the information sharing is very important and could benefit a lot to all the peers that are part of the sharing. And we also have to take into account the GDPR, ZWOP, and Classified Information Act or Zakon o tajnih podatkih. So if we are dealing with this kind of data. The contract is somehow the basis of trust. So it's the legal binding between the parties. So there must be absolutely kind of a community membership agreement or multilateral NDAs. We have the ALiEnS-SOC Consortium agreement, where we also put some clauses about how to deal with the information that we share and so on. So what are the parties? We definitely identify the parties and eligibility and the membership. Then the tiers of those membership, trust groups, roles, sponsorship, endorsement, and so on, what we already spoken about. And then the scope of sharing, what may and what must not be shared. Classification, marking, handling of the information, redistribution rules, and how long these data are stored, and when it is deleted and in what condition. And then the general rights and obligations of both parties, originator and the recipient of the information, actual property, we mentioned personal data and privacy, then the liability, warranties, and indemnification. So that I would say standard contractual clauses, SLA terms, termination, and exit clauses as well. So if one organization is wanted to exit this environment, governance and decision making, and how the disputes will be resoluted, because we can expect that some disputes will happen. And then the operational procedures that might be part of the contract or some addendum or a separate document and so on. But yes, the contract is the cornerstone. Process and governance. So how this will be then processed in real life, from the collection through all this life cycle to the expiry of some information. So the governance body should be established, kind of a steering committee or some working groups for the specific topics. Validation of information, so the confidence scoring and deconfliction of information if this happens. Maybe some emergency channels should be established for the active attack campaigns, so some alarming, and then the feedback loop, sightings of the shared information, false positive reporting, so how to react on some shared information, in what manner, on what should be considered. As I mentioned, dispute resolution, misuse handling. So this must be not only written in some document, but also should be actively work on that. And the regulatory policy reviews and effectiveness metrics. So to monitor how those procedures are effective in the reality. And then a bit about the technical architecture, although I said that I will be not discussing about the technical aspects, but still there should be technical standards, how those informations will flow, in what form, with what protocols, and so on, how to access the platform and the informations. So what authentication, authorization, maybe some federation of identities, and so on. Sharing controls, TLP markings, originator control, revocation of the information, watermarking, embargoes, and so on. If there will be some integration, probably there will be with some operational systems or some other CTI sources and so on. Data security, encryption in transit and at rest, audit, secure malware handling and isolation of those malware, sandbox, maybe integration, and those aspects. So what will be the platform, software platform? It will be MISP, OpenCTI, some custom developed models and integrations, as we spoke. Is this a single tenant, multi-tenant probably, or are there many single installations or one multi-tenant installation and interconnected with the different systems within the companies? So the quality of those informations are also important. So we would like to have high quality data and informations in that. And there are a couple of attributes that must be taken into account. One of them is accuracy. So there might be false positives or maybe misattribution. So I think that we should not attribute too fast some events, but also maybe it's not even the most important information, but also gives some insights into the event. Relevance, does it apply to our environment? Is this a sector specific, geography, and so on? So we would like to avoid too much noise and the analyst fatigue with too much of information that are not relevant. The timeless of the information, so is it current delivered fast enough to act, or there are some old IOCs that everybody already knows. Completeness and the context is very important to gain a wider view of some events. Is there enough surrounding information to act about, or are there bare IOCs, bare IPs, domains, and hashes, or there are some more informations behind? Then the confidence and reliability. So we want to be sure that this source and the information is credible. So there might be over trust or under trust to this information, and how actionable those informations are. So can I immediately use this information into some our enforcement system like firewall, CDRs, and so on? There are three main pillars or legs of this chair, or a stool, maybe we can say to this. So these are funding and business model, community, and the governance. But above that, above all of these three, there is an ethics. So there are soft factors that determine long-term success and sustainability. I will not go into details of all of them, but this platform must have some stable financing. So if there are membership dues, some government grant that we are now having under this project, or commercial subscriptions, or whatever that enables the funding to this platform. Then the community. So without the community, there is no platform. So there are contributors and consumers. There is some reciprocity under this sharing, and cross-organization analyst relationships maybe. So there will be some direct also contact relationships as well through this platform, and inclusivity across many organizations, and the organization maturity is very important, that all of them will understand what this is for. And also the exercises where all those processes should be tested. Then the third pillar is the governance. So contracts, governance charter, steering committee, working groups, transparency built into all those processes, and also the dispute resolution. So, and as I said about those, some kind of an ethics must be put in place. So this is kind of a cushion on top. So as I wrote here, it does not hold us the chair to stay up, but it will determine whether anyone wants to sit on this chair. So it's also important, although this kind of a soft attribute. So we would like to, this platform would be a long-term operational benefit to all of the entities. And for the end, what are the ALiEnS-SOC CTI sustainability anchors? So we have the funding during the project period from the EU Commission, and we will build the business model that will be sustainable also afterwards. And very important is the community that is built around the LS, DSOs, Informatica, URSIV, SI-CERT, Telekom Slovenije, and Končar Digital. And we will definitely take into account also other entities that we will maybe participate or consume the CTI information and services afterwards. The governments, we will establish a clear government framework built on the contracts and all other aspects that I talked about. And at the end, we have build proper ethics between all the organizations that will be part of this community. So we will have to work on that actively throughout the project and also afterwards. So we would like to be we would like to adhere to some rules. So there will be no commercial competitive use of any information and no HR or personal surveillance use. So no naming and shaming and victim blaming will not be acceptable, for example. And there are other things that we will work on to gain the trust and to build a high level of ethics on this platform. So this is from my side, and thank you for attention.
Thank you, Metod, for a very comprehensive representation.